Sanbonani, dumelang, hello, nameshaweta yunkwenu. Welcome to the Unbecoming the Ordinary podcast. I am your host, Eunice Themba, and if you are a new listener, I'd like to take this moment and welcome you. You are on a journey of unbecoming and unlearning all the things that people, society, and experiences have told you to be. I'd also like to encourage you to have yourself a glass of apple juice, pen and paper, because as usual I am about to drop some bombs. But before I get into that, guys, please allow me to share this is something that has been on my soul for the longest time this past few weeks, and oh my gosh, I don't know how well you guys are gonna receive it, but I have prayed that you receive it the same way that I have. You know, it's been 6 months into the year, and that simply means that we are only 6 months away into 2020. And sometimes we do pray and we feel like God doesn't answer our prayer. In reality, God does answer our prayers. They just don't come in the packaging that we expect. Hence, we end up feeling so anxious, overthinking, which is a part-time job that we don't even get paid for. And so wehlile emoyeni wami ukuthi, you know what, it is high time that we start living as if our dreams have actually been answered, because that is the only way we can actually get things moving in our lives. Well, let's get back to the show. Today, I am gonna share with you guys the emotional side of money. Today's episode is titled Financial Emotional Intelligence. I'll be dropping some bombs on how we can actually be financially emotional. Without any further ado, let me meet you on the other side of the show. Good morning. Like the Bible says, joy comes in the morning. However, here in the Unbecoming the Ordinary community, we have decided to adopt beloved Mpomani's words by saying, may the morning joy be with you. So, today's topic is financial emotional intelligence. And the reason of me doing this episode is because I feel that the emotional side of money is hardly discussed in public, in our spaces, with our families, with our friends. And I feel like this is something that needs to be discussed more, and talking about it can actually make the difference. But before I get into the finer details of it, I'd like to share a quick quote that I picked up in Dr. Myles Munroe's book, Releasing Your Potential, and it reads like this: God will not entrust you with more resources until you use what He's already given you. And oh my goodness, you guys, I felt like this resonates with today's topic because I don't think we are broke. We do have the resources to make ourselves better. However, we need to develop some sense of emotional intelligence when it comes to how we finance our money. And this is because what I've picked up is that in most cases, when we talk about money, the emotions that are most likely to prevail are anxiety, anger or regret, shame and embarrassment, and jealousy. And I'm definitely sure that you can relate with these emotions, because sometimes you are anxious because you feel like you don't have the money. And in most cases, you become angry or frustrated because you regret some of the things that you bought that you shouldn't have bought with the money that you had. And sometimes you become ashamed or embarrassed, especially when you start comparing yourself with friends and how they deal with their money as compared to you. And lastly, you tend to become jealous because when you see what others have done, or what you see what others have that you don't, you end up being green in envy. And I feel like that is common with all of us, unless you have developed that sense of financial emotional intelligence. And I will just make a quick example using myself. Oh my goodness, you guys, embarrassing as it is, So last year while I was in the US, I had a very, very bad habit of online shopping. Believe you me. And the trap was here. So I had the Forever 21 app on my phone. I had H&M app on my phone. And I think I also had Amazon, if not Walmart. I'm not sure. But the trap is in the fact that they would say spend 20 USD and you will get free shipping. And goodness, you guys, I always fell for that. So every time I had like 320 in my bank account, I would be like, okay, I have 20 extra dollars so I can actually use them for shopping. And I'd go online and end up buying things that I don't need only for the sake of free shipping. Because guys, trust me, it's exciting when you're able to pick up like 4 or 5 items that only cost $4 each, and you know that you don't even have to pay for shipping to get them to your place. So that was the trap. Sometimes it would be a thing of I have maybe like 30 USD and I'd be like, it's extra, I don't need it, I can somewhere just go shopping and get myself something. And I ended up having a lot of clothes. The frustration that I had when I had to pack was just beyond me, because I had bought a lot of clothes that I was not even wearing, a lot of clothes that I didn't even need. And in some cases, I got stuff that I didn't like, but I was too lazy to take it back because I was thinking about having to repackage it and take it back for shipping. And it was like, I'm not about to go that line. And in most cases, when I go to the mall, you find that I forgot the items, so I can't really exchange them. And when I finally sat down and thought about it, I was like, oh my goodness, Uni. You know, all those 20 USDs, I could have just been chunking them into a savings account. But because I lacked emotional intelligence at that time when it comes to my finances, it was easy for me to end up doing all these, falling into all these silly habits that didn't really benefit me in any good way. And I know that I'm not the only one, and I'm not trying to judge you or point fingers, but the one thing that I had to do was forgive myself, because as angry as I was, in order for me to move on, I had to forgive myself and take it as a learning curve. And first thing that I did when I got this side was like open a savings account whereby I chuck in all the extra coins that I find within my bank balance. So that means every time after shopping, I make sure that I leave my bank balance on like, maybe let's say I had 550 on my bank balance. So I would leave it on 500 and take the 50 rand and throw it into my savings account. And here's another trick, because if you have both your check and savings on one account, you will not be able to save. So what I did was like open a different banking account, savings account, so that the money that I save is not visible into my eyes, because once it's visible, it's easy for me to start using it also. And I just felt like I should share that, because I know I'm not the only one going through this phase, especially being in university and wanting to catch up with fashion. It gets so easy for us to get ourselves into the habit of doing unnecessary shopping. Another thing that I find maybe we should develop a sense of intelligence when it comes to, it's the idea of using Uber. I have a friend and I'm always fighting her with regards to this, because she Ubers, that girl. Yo, she Ubers. And when I think about it, like sitting down and calculating all those rides, Uber is a trap. And I know I'm not trying to shame Uber, and forgive me if it sounds like I am, but here in the Unbecoming, the ordinary, we are all about unlearning things that people have told us to be. And the idea of using Uber just doesn't sit well with me. And I know I use it sometimes, but I try to minimize how I use it, because if it's like 50 rand per ride, imagine going to like 3 places and you're using Uber. Already a day you have spent like 150. I mean, that could be an investment to a car. I know it might sound like I'm being a bit cliche or what, because gas is getting more expensive day by day, but the idea of Uber is a trap, and as much as we'd like to turn a blind eye into it, one day it is going to catch up with us. Here's another thing that I feel like we need to tackle, but in a humble manner. And you may correct me if I'm wrong, but I have a problem with giving tips. Like, I have a very big problem. And I know a lot of people be like, but no, that is the only way of securing an income at the end of the day, blah, 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 blah. Firstly, I feel like the restaurant shouldn't employ me if it feels like it won't pay me enough and I have to depend on tips. Secondly, if I don't have the money, I don't have it. You know, some places actually even they make you feel like you're obligated to pay that tip. Like how they just print it out there on your receipt and be like 10% of this. Yeah, you guys, I take out a tithe and 10% is a lot. Like, oh, guys, firstly, if I don't have the money, I don't have it. And some people are actually really bold of asking you for it. I mean, why should I tip you for doing your job when I actually do mine? And nobody tips me for doing my job. I mean, I'm here recording a podcast. This is me doing my job. And nobody is going to come and be like, Eunice, here is a tip for doing your job. I mean, do you tip a doctor? No, you don't. So I really, really, really have a problem with this whole idea of giving tips. Unless you have the time to come and educate me, I am willing to receive. But this is just my 2-bob advice. Another aspect that I feel like we should consider in regards to financial emotional intelligence is how we tend to figure ourselves under pressure. Excuse my Zulu, my English. Excuse my English. Another problem that I have is how we tend to put ourselves under unnecessary pressure simply because abantu bazothini, simply because of what will people say. So, and I have a legit example to back this up. Imagine walking into a club and they tell you that you cannot sit down if you don't have a bottle. And mind you, a bottle costs like 1,000 going upwards. And simply because you are Eunice, people know you on the gram, you're not going to stand and hold a glass. And so you end up buying a bottle that costs 20 times what you can afford, simply because you want that status. Yeah, I am Uningi Tandiwe. People know me for traveling, so I cannot be in a club and standing up. You understand such situations that we put ourselves under. You know, and you know that deep down you don't have the money for a bottle, but because you want that status. And I feel like this is something that goes with ego or pride, and you end up making silly decisions. For instance, again, you know that you cannot afford buying a Mercedes Benz, but because your friend bought an Audi and you don't want them to outweigh you, you go into that car dealership and you end up getting yourself into a financial situation that is way beyond you. And here is the trap with banks. A bank will not tell you that you cannot afford X and X car. No, they will actually encourage you. And another thing that I've picked up is that we need to start learning how to negotiate interest rates. I have friends whom are working, and I can tell that somehow they are struggling because of the decisions that they decided to put themselves through. I know we grew up in, most of us, or most of the people in the community can relate. We grew up in households where we were poverty stricken. And so the moment we start making it, we have a lot of those childhood thirst that we want to fill up as quickly as we can. And filling up the childhood thirst doesn't mean that you should go and do things that are way beyond you. Like, you just got your first job, you are 3 months into the job, and already you're putting yourself into a home loan, you're putting yourself into a car loan, and you also want to look the part at work because, hey, work has its own demands when it comes to dressing. And now you also want to put up with the partying life and all of that. My question to you is, do you have a job that pays? Do you have an extra job that pays for your partying habits? Do you have an extra job that pays for your dress code? Because I'm definitely sure that having that house and having that car and doing the lifestyle and taking care of home, because that's another reality that we have to face as black kids, especially black tags. You understand that it's a lot that you're putting yourself under, and it's just too much. It's just a lot. If we are not financially intelligent, we are bound to struggle. Another thing, and this is probably the last one that I'm gonna mention, that I have a problem with is weddings that are way beyond our financial means. Parties which are unnecessary. I've seen people have started adopting the notion of doing gender revealing party. Like, do you really have to do that? Doing baby shower, I was fine with it up until I found it as a problem, because now we have to pop out money for outfit, firstly. Secondly, we have to pop out money to help out. And thirdly, we have to get ourselves there. We have to bring a gift. Like, some things are just a trap from a distance, and it's not even nice. I feel like this is the reason why I'm keeping my circle very small, because I don't want to find myself having to go to 1,000 baby showers in a month, where else I could be investing that money somewhere else. I don't want to find myself going into some gender revealing parties as if it was that important. No. You could have just gone to the doctor and found the gender of your child and come, keep quiet. We will see when the baby is born. Why do some gender revealing party? For the why? For who? Huh? I just seem to have a problem with this, and sometimes it's like I'm jealous or not, but I've just gotten to a point where I don't even do something big to celebrate my birthday. Lunch is fine, because I don't want to fire myself under unnecessary pressure. You know how these people want to decorate birthdays lately? You want to do your picnic, what? You have to come with outfit that matches the theme. You have to pop out a gift. That time, I'm a girl. I have to do my nails. I have to do my hair. It needs to match. Secondly, I don't have a car. That means I have to Uber myself, and if it's that far, because taxi is gonna frustrate me, I'm gonna end up being a frustrated human being for a baby shower. No. And guys, if we don't develop like a tough skin, these things are gonna hinder our progress in life. And as much as it hurts, truth needs to be told. I've seen how we are following the gram life that we cannot even afford, wanting to travel at the expense of who? It's sad, but it's true, and it's some struggles that are faced mostly by the youth because of this thing of instant gratification. And I strongly feel like it should fall. Firstly, forgive yourself for your past money mistakes. Forgive yourself that you have to deal with black tax. Forgive yourself that you were born in poverty and that you have to live up into your parents' expectations. You need to forgive yourself for that, because if you don't, you will be caught up in black tax. And secondly, you might be a hardworking individual who aspires for more, but our families sometimes are structured in a way that is so heartbreaking. Because uYeunice uyasebenza, We will drink milk from the fridge, from the bottle, because what? Eunice can afford. She'll buy another one. I don't want to find myself buying milk or grocery 4 times a month simply because I have irresponsible siblings. So I'm just at a point where I want to teach them how to be responsible as much as they can, because sometimes you find a job, you work, and families will take advantage of you. And if you do not put a firm leg and take a step into it, you will feel like you're working backwards. You won't see your progress. And that time you also have your own dreams that you aspire. And for some reason, I aspire families that tell a child to start being independent at the age of 18, because now they're teaching you life, they're teaching you responsibility. And tough for us, because this is something that I had to teach myself from first year. My parents would give me like 1,000 for me to buy grocer, 2 jeans, shabo, electricity, wallet, dress. And reality hit me, because that's when you get to realize that 1,000 is actually not enough, and it teaches you how to be responsible. Imagine having to get your hair done from that 1,000, having to buy that grocer, seshebo. Obviously you need 1 or 2 jeans, it's a lot, and it just gets you into a mode of learning independency. And I feel like that's what I want to do now, finishing off my degree, not because I'm going to be working and earning. No, I'm still going to be helping out, but I don't want to be helping out while bankpege ebsweni, because now some families tend to take advantage. And this is something that you might want to look into for yourself, because sometimes the one thing that pulls us away from success, it's our families. Harsh and sad as it sounds, it's the sad reality. And if we do not face it, how are we going to deal with it? But before this recording gets too long, I just wanted to share that with you guys. And in closing, again, I just want to share something that I found so fundamental just to keep your week flowing. You must have the right environment. When God created human beings, He placed them in the Garden of Eden, where ideal conditions for man's growth and fulfillment were present. So by saying that, I don't want you to look at your life and feel as if all odds are against you, because that's not true. All odds are for you. It is up to you to take the right steps and do the right things and get all the financial education that you need. Until next time, good morning.